guys, it's Cassidy and you're watching That Spooky Lifestyle, where we bring the ooky, the spooky, the creepy and the crawly into our everyday lives. Today, I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about the origins of haunted houses. While I get ready, let's get ready together and just kind of discuss some creepy topics. I love haunted houses. I love going haunted house hunting. I love going to like haunted houses people built. I love going to abandoned buildings. I love all of that. So if you also love all of that, keep on watching. Before we get started, I am going to do an oracle card pull. The deck is the Divine Circus Oracle. This is just something to think on while you're watching or listening this video, or something to think on for the rest of your day. Nothing too intense. Basically, I'm just going to shuffle till a card pops out. Woo! Ooh, we got 2 cards. Okay, so something to think about during this video for the rest of your day is rare, raw, and real. So that's the first card I see. And then also go fish. So I'm just going to quickly look up what those mean in this guidebook. I'm going to let you know and then we're going to get started. Okay, so the first one I flipped to is go fish. So that's this one. Sometimes what you want is right in front of your nose, just waiting to be recognized. At other times, what you want is more like a treasure hidden within the depths of your oceanic being. You have to go diving to find what you desire. What you most want, need, desire, and crave has been bubbling up from within you. It is rising from the depths of you now. It's time for you to discover an inner treasure. It's time to go fish. Ooh, that's a pretty good card to pull. Okay, and then 42, rare, raw, real. Because we pulled 2 cards, I'm not going to go into depth because these are like pages long and ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, rare, raw, real. That was this card. There is a unique beauty in you that wants to shine through. It is different. It might not be pretty, neat, and tidy, and you might even feel vulnerable about sharing this real, unveiled you with the world. Do it anyways, because the world wants to love you. The rare, the raw, and the real. Ooh, I think it's basically telling us to be ourselves, go after what we want. Maybe it's telling all of us we need to go haunted house hunting together. That's what I think it's telling us. I am ready to talk about haunted houses. Okay, last time I messed up and I did the rest of my makeup before my eyes, so then I was like done my story by the time the eyes came around. So we're starting with our eyeshadow today. Okay, so I like starting off by talking about what like haunted houses or like what the topic is nowadays. So basically now, when you say haunted house, I think one of 2 options come up. People either think you mean a theme park attraction, like a haunted house that someone has specifically put together and you know isn't real, or when you say haunted house, it's usually like an old abandoned building that is just really creepy from the outside. People don't like to go into it, or usually it's a place a lot of people unfortunately like died there or just had really awful times, like an asylum or something from like back in the day, because asylums way back when were not the nicest place to be. Today we're mainly going to be talking about the theme park haunted houses, but I will touch on a little bit of actual like haunted places. Haunted houses nowadays, basically you get in line, buy a ticket, whatever, and then you kind of walk through a maze. Like there's usually some sort of path to make sure you go through the right doors at the right times. They're usually very dimly lit, and usually nowadays there's a rule where the actors can't touch you when they jump out at you, and these have become like super popular over the last few years, I would say, especially as Halloween has picked up. Again, just like in my last video, I'd say over the past like 10 years, especially, like more haunted houses have popped up. Local businesses usually do some sort of like haunted house or corn maze or like pumpkin festival. Like they usually do something that kind of has that like spooky feel to it. I would say that haunted houses have definitely picked up in popularity in the last little while. Okay, so moving on to a bit of history. How did these haunted houses start? When did people, you know, start getting into them, start finding them interesting? Girl, let's get into it. So it basically started in like the 19th century in like London. Is kind of when most people tend to attribute the start of it. Kind of when like illusions and attractions kind of started making its way to the public and becoming like more popular. A lot of people attribute one of the kind of first stepping stones to today's haunted houses to Marie Tussauds Wax Museum. When the Wax Museum first opened, people didn't really know what to make of it because it was very creepy. Like, it was all these hyper-realistic figures of like King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, and the museum even had a like death masks for all the guillotine victims of the French Revolution. And Marie Tussaud, sorry, my voice broke. Marie Tussaud called this the Chamber of Horrors, and it's kind of stuck with the Wax Museum since then. A lot of people attribute like the origins of haunted houses kind of starting to pick up speed with that, because it was like, it kind of is like a haunted house. It's like a creepy sort of vibe. It's got like people who are there but aren't there, you know what I mean? So then in the 20th century, there were theaters in Paris that started bringing more macabre themes into their theater and into their performances. And one of the directors of this theater, his name is Max Moreau. I don't know French, so if I mispronounced that, I'm sure I did. Max, he would judge how well the performance went by how many people like passed out and gasped and like had to leave the theater. Like, it was they very much based their performance on like how intensely their audience reacted to it, essentially. Which I love that. It very much reminds me of the style of, oh, I can see his face, the director who always worked with Divine, John Waters. It very much reminds me of something he would do, and I bet he actually probably took some inspiration from these like older influences, like everyone does. It's hard not to take influences from things you see when you grow up or heard of or read about. Anyway, so this is kind of when haunted houses started to, not haunted houses, but like horror kind of themed stuff started to pick up slowly over the world. And then the first haunted houses actually ended up like appearing during the Great Depression, because on Halloween, it was kind of popular for young men to kind of let off steam and cause trouble, and especially in the Great Depression when there was so much like anxiety and stress because of just the environment they had around them and the situations that were happening in the everyday life. People were really concerned in during this time that like the young men would just cause way too much trouble. Like, there were some stories of like kids would dig up dead bodies and like lay them on train tracks and stuff to see what happened like during Halloween, because it's just like that's what they did then, and it's just like, oh, like, yeah, no shit, you wanted something to preoccupy them. So basically this was the parents' way of trying to combat that and hopefully avoid any like dead bodies and any of the other tricks and stuff that they would do. Like, kids were like pushing over cars and stuff. Like, they were just really running amok, and the parents didn't want that. So the first haunted houses were kind of made to like preoccupy the kids during Halloween so that they didn't get into too much trouble just going around and you know, doing too many tricks on their neighbors and stuff. So essentially what people did is they kind of made homemade haunted houses in their basements for trick-or-treaters. And so haunted houses actually started appearing basically when trick-or-treating did. Because to be fair, they kind of go hand in hand. So yeah, people were making their own haunted houses in their basements that trick-or-treaters would have to go through, and this is kind of so that they could keep kids out of trouble and stop them from, you know, digging up dead bodies. Am I right? Parenting at its finest. Yeah, who's with me? And I love this. I remember when I was younger, there was a couple houses in my town that would do their own haunted houses, and yeah, it was as a trick-or-treater, you'd have to walk through, and they, you know, they had it was all dark, and there was like bowls of spaghetti you had to put your hands in, and ooh girl, like you knew it was fake, but still, it's like, you know it's fake, but you know they're trying to scare you, and that's what's scary, is like, you know there's like something's gonna happen, you know. So yeah, basically haunted houses started during the Great Depression in people's basements, homemade, all that good stuff. Then in 1969, Walt Disney was like, this shit is fire and we need to jump on it. And that's when he made the Haunted Mansion ride. Dun, 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 dun. This house was based on the Winchester house, and it also said the Evergreen house. I haven't heard of that one, so I've heard of the Winchester house. There's a movie on the Winchester Manor, and it's actually really good. You should watch it if you haven't already. But the Evergreen house I actually haven't heard of, so I do want to look that one up. Maybe I'll make another video about it, you never know. But anyways, so Walt Disney was like, yes girl, we need to make this haunted house, this is gonna be awesome, it's gonna be all ooky and spooky and people are gonna love it. And after he made that ride, that's what really like sensationalized haunted houses and really made it more or like the public was into it more, and it really sensationalized it and made it way more popular, because obviously it's in one of the biggest theme parks in the world. So yeah, everyone was like, haunted houses, cool, love that. This look, it's like not really working, but I'm persevering in hopes that something better happens as I'm going through. It's one of those things, like the dark powder isn't sticking because I didn't put a base down, so I'm gonna do that and then I'll be right back. I wouldn't go as far to say that it's good because it's not. It's still very intense and dark, but it is much better, just not good. But hey, it's definitely dark. We're not patchy Patricia, you know, we're not out here doing that. Anyways, so after Disney like sensationalized this ride, which is amazing by the way, I went on the haunted house, the Haunted Mansion ride in Disney World. It was my absolute favorite ride of the entire trip. It was so well done. They have these like ghosts that come out of the wall, and like it's just insane. There's this, yeah, I don't want to like spoil it too much, but just trust me, if you are going to Disney World or Disneyland, you absolutely must go on the Haunted Mansion ride because it is worth it 110%. Anyways, so once Mr. Walt Disney sensationalized it, then fundraisers started taking part in haunted houses and using it to raise money for their causes, which is honestly still super popular today. I know a lot of just even businesses that use haunted houses in the fall to raise money for certain charities, and I think that's awesome because it's like, it's such a fun way to donate. Do you know what I mean? And like, sometimes you really need to like hook, line, and sinker people in with something super fun to get them excited about it, and then it's for a great cause. So it's just like, it's a win all around, and I love that. We are looking raccoon realness, so I hope that's what you guys came to see. Listen, I'm gonna do a cut crease, and I need full concentration, so we're gonna pause the discussion for a minute, and I'm just gonna hammer out this cut crease. Okay, girl? She here, girl. She here. Okay. So, once fundraisers and Disney World and all that, or Disneyland, we're jumping on the haunted house train. Hollywood obviously was like, yeah. This is basically when these popular slashers came out, like Halloween and Freddy Krueger and Friday the 13th. And when these haunted houses starting to get more popular, they used a lot of these like Hollywood movies in haunted houses. Like in the 1980s to 1990s, pretty much every haunted house you went to had Freddy Krueger in it, or Pinhead, or kind of one of these more iconic slasher villains in it. Whereas nowadays, haunted houses have kind of evolved into their completely like own genre, and when you're there, unless it's like a themed haunted house, you're gonna get creatures that are completely original just to that haunted house. So I think that's something that's like super cool. This year, me and my boyfriend decided to go to the Halloween Horror Nights at Disney World, and let me tell you, they had a really good mix of houses that were based off of movies like Us, Ghostbusters. They had lots. There was 10 houses, and I think like 7 of them were based off movies, or 6. And then the other houses, like there was this graveyard one, there was Universal Monsters. They weren't based off specific movies, and so all of their monsters were super original, and you really had like no idea what to expect. And I really enjoyed those houses. I thought they were... I just really liked it because like the movie haunted houses were crazy accurate, which was really cool, but you kind of knew what to expect. Like after you went through one, you're like, oh, it's gonna be like exactly like the movies. And they were, and it was astounding to see like just the life-sized stuff that they could do was really breathtaking. But I personally really liked the houses that you didn't know what the monsters were gonna be. I just found them so much scarier. Because for the haunted houses, yeah, that were based off movies, you just kind of knew what you were in for. And yeah, so I think that nowadays haunted houses have really kind of merged into their own thing altogether, where some are based off of like popular horror movies, but I think the best ones are the original ones that just kind of have their own concept and own thing going on. I think I need to use my finger. Honestly, let's just commit. Oh, do you see that? That's like radioactive. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay guys, I'm going to now go pop on some lashes, kind of finish the rest of my makeup, and I'll be back. Whew. Okay, quick rundown of my eyes. I used the Anastasia Subculture palette, the let's open it up here, this tan and this green all over my lid. And then, and then I used this green right here for the shimmer on the cut crease. And then I used this palette, the Anastasia Prism palette. I used this lime green in my inner corner. And the eyelashes I am wearing are Crystal Lash Cosmetics, Jackpot. Lashes in the style Jackpot. In case you care, you probably don't, but now you know. Okay, so yeah, haunted houses basically now have kind of merged into their own lane, you could say, and some of them are based off of horror movies, some of them aren't. I thoroughly enjoy them. I remember as a kid, I loved going to both styles of haunted houses. I'd go to the theme park ones, and then because when I was growing up, there was a lot of just old abandoned kind of farm buildings around where I lived. I loved going haunted house hunting there, and you'd basically drive around in the middle of the night and go to different creepy locations. Just make sure to be safe. You don't want to fall through any floors or anything like that. I can see if I can do an origins on like actual haunted places, but I think that just organically happens when there's like a creepy place that people don't like to go. You know what I mean? And then, you know, you find out the history and people died there, or like weird stuff happens when people go there. That's how I kind of think that normal haunted houses or normal haunted places kind of get their rep. I might do specific haunted places in the future to kind of go through like the Winchester Mansion, like how did that all start and going forward. But in this general view of haunted houses, I don't think I will. That's a bit too much detail. But yeah, guys, that's basically the origins of how haunted houses started. Let me know down below your thoughts. What other spooky topics would you like me to go over or do the origins of? I really like doing these videos, and they are very heavily inspired by Bailey Sarian's Murder Mystery Makeup Mondays. She does true crime every Monday. I love listening to it. Me and my boyfriend listen to her all the time. Her stories are, she's just a really good storyteller. I'm still kind of getting in the groove of it. I feel like sometimes I kind of ramble off, but that's just me. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Again, let me know down below what you'd like to see. Visit my blog, thatspookylifestyle.com. A lot of my videos go up on my blog early, so if you want to get kind of sneak peeks there, or follow me on Instagram at thatspookylifestyle to keep up to date with everything. And yeah, I think that is all I have to say to you guys. I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you in my next video.